Are you ready? Are you ready to change the way you look at pain and disappointment? I said, are you ready? Are you ready to look at adversity in its eyes and hurdle those obstacles and create opportunities? I can show you how, but only if you're ready. Welcome to Tragedy to Triumph TV, where we shine a light on some resilient individuals. Individuals that use some of life's unseen obstacles into blessings and opportunities. Not to only survive, but to thrive. We will challenge you to think different, using one's perception over one's perspective. You ready? Let's do it. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back for our second episode of Tragedy to Triumph TV. I thank everyone that came on, that subscribed, that liked, that shared, that viewed, that gave me feedback. I truly appreciate it. First episode was amazing. You're going to be able to watch that first episode again, probably in about another week. But nevertheless, we are on episode number 2, and I have a really, really special guest with me today. This young man has touched my soul and my heart from a very, very far distance. Never met. This is the first time we actually physically met. He's an inspiration to me. I watched him grow up through social media, like in a crazy way. Amazing, 2 amazing parents. Shout outs to my girl Mook and your dad. You know what I mean? These 2 people were just amazing. Jason and Mookie just did a wonderful job with this young man and all of their kids. So as we do all the time, we shine a light on the good things in life because, you know, we go so many times where we see in every news episode, everything on TV is all negative. Is we did this, we did that, negative, negative, negative. But here on Tragedy to Triumph TV, we shine a really, really good light on really, really good people and hope to inspire you. So we're going to just get into this thing, and I'm going to have my guest introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jahquan, a.k.a. KT, as you guys might know me from. All my friends call me KT. My family calls me Ja, but name is Jahquan. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a good time, and welcome to the show. As always, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I am originally from Paterson, New Jersey. We moved to Union, New Jersey, and then now we are currently in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I'm a software engineer by heart. I love to do music. I love to play piano. I am a self-taught pianist. I am now a part-time streamer on Twitch as well, which you guys are on that for real. But I'm so happy you guys are watching and having a good time. I hope you guys are having a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. If you guys love technology, I'm your guy. Computers, I'm your guy. IT, I'm your guy. Gaming, I'm your guy. Music, I'm your guy. All right? So I'm happy you guys are here having a good time. Yes.
So how can they find you? Through all of those avenues you just named. Because, see, I'm old school, and I don't know nothing about all of that stuff you said. So tell the family how they can find you through all of those platforms.
Yes. So I'm pretty much everywhere. KTVEI, KTVEI. So TikTok, KT_Vey, Instagram, KTVEI, and all of that. Once again, KTVEI. I post more on TikTok now. I'm streaming almost every weekday on Twitch. So make sure you're in that. I have my own Discord server. Just let me know. Starting with Twitch, that is the main one. KT_VEI. I'm streaming every weekday. Almost every weekday, but definitely every weekday, my best, at 9 p.m. Eastern time, all the way to like midnight. So 3-hour stream, 4-hour stream. Guys, join up. We're playing Fortnite, shooters, racings, all of that stuff. It's all a good time. I'm trying to build a nice community of all players, all ages. Everyone's welcome to have a good time. Safe for work as always. That's how I do it. And once in a while, I'll have like a little funny moment. I'll be like, hey guys, I'm missing a leg, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew that, but yeah. And then it'll just be like, wait, what? And then we'll have a whole story time, and everyone's like, oh my gosh. And then they have their stories they might tell, like, oh my God, I'm also a cancer survivor. I met other streamers too, who are also cancer survivors, and it's been just like, oh my God, no way. We follow each other, we stream together. And that just further builds the community. You know, there's also Fortnite stuff. I am very, very into Fortnite, things like that, Call of Duty, all about that. But not just gaming, I do some programming as well. And nowadays I'm doing tutoring. So trying to get those people who struggled at first, like I did in programming, and pretty much doing a bunch of tutoring on that as well. So tutoring, coaching, gaming, streaming, music, you name it, I'm pretty much doing it. If it involves a computer, I'm pretty much doing it. Building computers, home office design, I do all those things. So it is a good time to have you guys here and get to know me more and be on the show and have a good time.
Right. So let's get to know you more.
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm currently 25.
25, and you said you were born in Patterson.
Born in Patterson.
And so, born in Patterson, until what age did you move out of Patterson?
So we were in Patterson all the way until I was about 10 years old. I had my cancer situation when I was 6 and then got released from the hospital when I was 8 years old. And then from there, we started transitioning into a different environment, a new environment. We went to Hillside, New Jersey when I was 11 years old. And then we went into Hurd and Looker. That was my main school, pretty elementary. And then from there, there's like so many schools in that area. So pretty much I went to 3 different schools just in that one town. It's a very small town. Hillside is like 2.2 miles wide diameter. So it was crazy. But honestly, I learned a lot growing up in Hillside. I wasn't used to walking with my leg. I wasn't used to talking to different types of people. It was a different demographic somewhat. Patterson was more of like a mix of Hispanic and Black and a bunch of different things. But then Hillside kind of had more, I guess, Haitian, Creole. There was more, some white, some Peruvian, some Uruguayan. There was a bunch of different like races.
So
like,
it was different, totally different transition from living in Patterson. I get it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So in school, started school, you said you were in, when did you get your leg amputated? How old were you at that point?
I was early 6.
Did you understand what was happening?
I did not understand what was going on 100%, but I knew that something had to be bad if we kept having these frequent revisits to the hospital for these x-rays. So we didn't actually catch the cancer until like the second or third time that, we had an x-ray it was just kind of alarming at first to see my mom have tears coming from her eyes on that third time we went to go check, because that's when we found it. I remember driving back home. I could see my mom's face in the reflection of the mirror on the highway, and I just saw tears rolling down her face. And that's when it kind of hit me. Okay, this is something serious.
So when you were going, so you said there was the third time after the third screening, that's when they recognized that what the situation was. Were you sick? But like, how were you feeling prior to that? What led to going to get screened for the cancer? What led up to that?
Yeah, so I think the only way we knew something was odd or like we had to keep checking was my limping. My mom noticed I was limping and I didn't notice. I'm like goofing around 24/7. I was a very big goofball. I was misbehaving as a toddler and all that. We don't talk about that, but yeah, I remember walking to Blockbuster. I think that was the first time we were walking to Blockbuster. It was a sunny day. We were walking across the parking lot. And she said, "Oh, I think you're limping. Like, are you okay?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing's wrong. I don't know what you're talking about, right?" But she had a lot more times where she did see me limping, where even if I didn't notice it, she was very sure something was wrong. And that's when I said, "Okay, something's wrong, but I don't know what's going on, Mom. Just take me where we got to go, and then we'll figure it out, right?" But I was so young, I didn't really know what was going on at the time, and it just was like, wow, like every time I think about it, it does get more blurry, as I get older and older. But there's something that just never forget.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I can understand that. So 2 years in the hospital.
It was 1 year, and then it was a lot of physical therapy after that. We had to look for some way of me to like have my stitches heal after the surgery, and then also we had to find prosthetics for me to wear and get around. But until then, I was on crutches 24/7, had my walker, just to like be able to stand properly and get used to the fact that, oh, hey, my leg is missing. Like, hey, you have to start balancing on one leg. Oh, you have to be careful not to strain your leg, because I often do it when I'm swimming too, because I had to start swimming at some point.
You're a swimmer.
Yes, I do love swimming. Swimming is really fun.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. That's awesome.
And I just try to always stay positive, stay active no matter what. I was, telling you how it's super, super important to have the mentality that you can still do it. So I want to be the visual representation that no matter what, you can always still do it, even if it might take money, it might take time, it might take energy, patience, understanding, learning. You can still do it. And that is the one thing I want to always push. I have to add that in there before I go on.
Absolutely. I hear you, man. So what I guess like what's the actual diagnosis of cancer?
It was
If that's said correctly, I'm not sure. But
Yeah. The name of the cancer was osteogenic sarcoma. Last time I researched, it was 200,000 cases in a year.
Okay.
But that was a few years ago. It could be totally different now. I'm not sure if it's going to be less or more. I think it might be less. But I have met some other people who had similar amputations. At Relay for Life, the Cancer Association, I have to add that in there. That was a big part of my life. I was a speaker for Relay for Life for about several years. I took a break because of college. And then my college also had a club. And I was like, oh my God, you guys do Relay for Life as well. I don't have to worry about driving here when I don't have a car or, worrying about speaking or making it in time. It's right there.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for about 2 years. I was a speaker for like 2 years, I think. I want to say 3, but yeah, I'll stay with 2. And
so
then
now is that something that's normal in children? Like with the research, is that something that they found more in children than adults? Like that form of cancer?
I want to say yes, because that every time I came across someone who'd had a similar cancer, it was when they were younger.
Okay, all right.
But other people who I met who had amputations in general usually was because of accidents. I think the cancer really became from the childhood area, younger ages.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're out of the hospital. What school did you attend when you first get home?
When I first got home from the hospital, I had homeschooling for a while.
Okay.
So the good thing is I had my situation. There was a teacher named Miss Karcher I had 3rd and 4th grade, but because I was in the hospital at the time, she came out to homeschool me. It was her, a guy, I do not remember his name, but right before I got back into school around 3rd or 4th grade, Miss Karcher was the one that was in the hospital tutoring me, going out her way. Very sweet lady, yes.
That's awesome.
And she got me mentally back into the whole school environment because my mom really wanted me to get back into school ASAP. She didn't want my leg to hold me back, especially because I'm so young.
Yeah.
Because you only have those years and then that's really it. You get older and you have to start actually taking those responsibilities.
Yeah.
So it was really, really important for that. But yeah, it was School 29 in Patterson.
Okay.
I went back there. Miss Karcher was my teacher, like pretty much 3rd and 4th grade. And some other ones were sprinkled in as a public school. And it was fun. It was nice.
Good.
A lot of experiences.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah. So now you're in 3rd, 4th grade. Now you're back in school.
Yeah,
right?
now I'm back.
Now you're back in school.
Yeah.
How was that transition in school for you when it came to the other kids?
I guess this is where bullying usually would come around because you might have like, oh, you're different. Oh, you're limping. Oh, you have a leg. You're missing. You're just not the same as us. I guess let's make fun of him. But I actually never got bullied like that much. Like I'm surprised because I knew bullying was a thing, and I'm definitely not the one to ever like bully. I always wanted the happiest thing for everyone.
Yeah.
So I actually had not too bad of a time. If anything, the reaction that I got from other kids were, oh my gosh, this guy is missing a leg. He's a pirate. Oh my God. Or something like, oh my gosh. How do I say it? Like, oh, do a trick. Or I had like different things I could just do that were just different. Like I could twist my leg around and they were like, oh my gosh, like, wow, like, how are you doing that? Some kids were literally freaked out. Like, what are you doing? Like, stay over there. Like, it was funny. I always had a friend nearby. And I was honestly like a class clown. I'm not going to lie. But I just loved making people laugh and be happy, And I feel like once other people understood I was still a normal kid, that was
the icebreaker.
Yeah, it was easy for me. Yeah. It's easy for me to like join a group and say, hey guys, how's it going? And, just be goofy and tell a joke and like, hey guys, want to go play basketball. I can actually like play, a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So that allowed them to be like more comfortable.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool. So now we are going. So after Patterson and School 29, what was next?
Next is when we moved to Hillside, and that's when my first school was Hurden Looker.
Okay.
Hurden Looker was a pretty decent school. I was there for 5th grade.
That's a public school?
Yes.
Okay.
It was public school. It was like more of a uniform you had to wear.
Okay.
It was more structured. There was a lot more classes. It was definitely that's where I kind of saw the diversity in the kids
Okay.
a little bit more. It's not just like, Spanish speaking or, Black, or it was just like a lot of different types of those like,
Yeah.
Races and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Like I
Yeah.
said, I don't even notice those things because I'm so fixated on making friends and just trying to be like included, but not like in a bad group, just in general.
Yeah.
Like, let people know, hey, I love drawing. Who likes drawing? You like drawing? Let's go draw, or let's go play outside. Oh my God, you can't catch me, can't run, whatever. Something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
have a
yeah,
good time.
Yeah.
And I think that school was a nice opening for me to get used to the town and the location and just the school systems in general. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was a lot of schools in
Yeah.
that town. Unfortunately, I was there for only a year,
Okay.
that 5th grade. After that, I went to WOK, Walter O. Crumbagel. That was literally right around the corner from that
Okay.
school. So that was the actual middle school. And I was there for the full 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Okay.
That's where a lot of my new experience. I feel like herd and liquor wasn't really a lot. It was just me getting used to like my leg, playground, school, like what I need to work on as academically. And mainly that, but Walter O. Crumbagel was the beginning of many, many things. It was just insane.
Like what though? Like it was, how was it insane? Because you seem like you really enjoyed
the
that
memories,
school.
like.
So in what way was that
Yeah,
school so insane?
Honestly, different types of people. It was like, I think a little bit overwhelming
Okay.
because of the higher class. I was trying to fit in with them
Yeah,
first. Like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
6th grader, trying to be cool like 8th grade. I had like a really big crush at the time. Like,
I knew that was coming in.
the crush.
I knew when you said it was such a different experience. I knew that part was coming in. Let's talk.
The crush. I think that she was bad, but like, okay, she was cool. All right, I didn't know the meaning of bad. I'm just saying that because now I'm looking back.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but it was cool. I had like my first like, how do I present myself? I'm different. Is she gonna like be used to this? I was very shy at the time too. I didn't know how to really talk much.
Yeah.
I think back then I was really soft spoken. Kind of to myself. If you're a gamer, cool, we're good.
You
but
got something to connect with you with.
yeah, like
but just opening up a total brand new situation is different.
Yeah, I think streaming nowadays helped me with that. But yeah, like it was pretty chill between us and her friends and my friends, like, but I couldn't really get through. I didn't know how. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to just be passive and just let things just go by. So over time, I would say hi, and that was really it. But I don't even know. I'm trying not to think about say too much, but like it was there. It was there.
So this girl, this is 6th grade, right?
Yeah.
So she was 6th grade as well?
Yes.
She was in 6th grade as well.
Yeah.
Did she come from the same school you came from? From the old school? She did come from.
Yeah, but I didn't know her like that. I was having someone on my mind, someone else at the time. But there's so much different like events. Like I lived a very like eventful life, even though I don't feel like I do a lot.
But you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I love how from the time from the beginning, you never stopped living. And I love how your mom wanted you to get right back in school, because that probably helped you to just live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just to live. And even now, growing up, it just helps you continue to excel, because you don't have anything that you don't feel like you could do. So it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But let's talk about the girl.
Oh yeah.
Because as I know, this gets better.
All right. Yeah, she was Haitian. She was about my height, which is nice. What am I allowed to say?
What you want to say, man? Just keep it clean.
Yeah, she was cool. She was like a girly girl, which was nice.
Uh-huh.
I like a mix, but at the time, she was very soft, very like graceful, very smart, very smart. She's always on honor roll. She was sometimes on like what's the higher one? I guess high honor roll. And when you get high honor roll, your names are said on the loudspeaker. So every time I would hear her name, I'm like, oh yes, good job. She did amazing this semester. She did good. And if I didn't hear it, I'm like, what happened? Like, in my mind, I'm thinking like, what happened? But it was good.
That's
I just
cool,
wanted to
though.
like the best for her.
Yeah.
And once in a while, I would have that one time where I can get close enough to talk and be like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, hi, I'm doing good. I'm like, yes. Like, I actually can talk to her. Like, wow. Because I always dream of talking to her, but I'm too nervous.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, nah, I don't know how to do it. And I was very like innocent. I was very like not really knowing how to like be the Chad, be the cool dude or something. I didn't know how to really approach.
Yeah.
Because it's someone that's outside of my hobbies. It's someone that's outside of my like family type, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
so it was just different for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to approach it. And I definitely knew, I was smart enough to know if I do anything and it goes the wrong way, then I'm stuck.
You're gonna,
So I'd rather just keep everything neutral, and then whenever the good time, the ore farming comes in, I could just be like, hey, that's my time to shine.
So you didn't run this past the Big J?
Um,
Because I know the Big J would have dropped the jewels on you.
yeah. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I just kind of kept
Gotta
it
keep it to
passive.
yourself. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you. So now, did that ever turn into anything?
We did get a little closer over time, but it was pretty much that she wasn't like really into me, which is okay.
Yeah.
Like, if we could be friends, that's totally
Yeah,
cool. I was
yeah.
friends with her friends, and even right now we have Instagram. Sometimes we'll like each other's stories and
Yeah.
keep it chill.
Yeah.
And like if I was like, hey, you want to hang out like right now? There's a pretty decent chance she would say,
She would,
okay,
yeah,
like
yeah.
but I don't know what's happening in her
Yeah,
life though, so I
yeah,
can't
that's
really
cool.
go crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
But like, yeah.
Okay. So now, 8th grade. 8th grade. So after 8th grade is high school in
Same area too.
same area. Okay. So 8th grade. Do you guys have the 8th grade prom or anything like that?
We did.
Dance?
We did. It was a social, I guess we call it like a social. Do I remember?
Not really.
Very faint.
Okay.
I do remember prom, but don't remember the social as much. I think it took place in a gym.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah,
just
I think
decorations.
most of them do
Something,
like that.
something
Yeah.
small. It was cool. I did
Yeah.
see her there. I did ask her, I believe. I'm pretty sure I asked
That
her.
was the
and
time. That's
yeah.
the time right there. 8th grade
Yeah.
at the very last dance.
You got it.
Time. That's the time.
I think she said, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe. And I took
Yeah.
it like, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
I was like a little hurt, but not like,
Yeah. Never
You
show
know,
them. Never show them your face card.
oh yeah, for real. I don't want to. I didn't want to be too vulnerable,
Yeah.
Like, but I kept it chill. Cause I was like, you know what? I kind of expected it
Mhm.
because I think I overthink a
Yeah.
lot when it comes to girls, or like when it comes to approaching or how to do this or that. I kind of read it a little bit,
Mhm.
and then that determines whether I will go through with it
Mhm.
or just keep it chill and then wait for a better opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not in any rush to like be in anything serious
Yeah, I
like,
hear you.
at the time.
hear
I
you.
was just kind of like, you know what? If it's there, it's there. If
Yeah.
it's not, keep it chill, and
Yeah.
then in the future maybe something will come up.
Yeah.
People change.
Yeah.
You know?
So high school.
Yeah.
High
yes.
school. Now you guys are in Cherry Hill now in high school?
No.
Okay.
So Isabella is gonna be middle
Isabella's
school.
your sister.
Yeah, Isabella is my sister. She is just turned 12,
Okay.
and
you have
she
you have another sister.
yeah, Camilla.
Camilla
Camilla is in college. I believe she is going to be a senior this upcoming after the summer.
Okay.
She used to be a CA, so like an RA assistant, which is kind of like monitoring students in the dorms, making sure everyone is doing well. She's doing nursing at the
Oh,
moment.
nice. Very nice,
Yeah.
Camilla.
She came from physical therapy as a major,
Mhm.
and then now moving into nursing.
Nice.
So she's doing a lot. She's doing some small study during the summer,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's gonna go back and pretty much finish it out, and then do nursing school afterwards.
Okay. And I think I'm not absolutely sure, but I think Camilla got skills on the mic too, doesn't she?
She does music.
Yeah.
I do music.
Yeah.
She does music, but she does music a lot more. Like she's on it. She's like
She's on it.
actually on it.
Yeah,
For me, I just make beats.
Your
here and
dad
there.
had posted something. I think one of the songs that she might have did. It
Mhm.
was pretty cool.
It was nice.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Her online name goes by Milla.
Okay.
So Camilla, but
Mhm.
Milla.
Yeah.
And Milla is like her front page name. She does also, I think, sneaker reselling. She just takes that really seriously
Okay.
too. We went to a couple of conventions for her, and it was really nice. One
Yeah.
in Wildwood was really nice. So she's doing that really nice. She's been doing that. I believe she's taking a break right now, but it's still like around. She still does it.
Okay. So let's get back.
Yeah.
So high school.
Yes.
High school. How's high school?
High school was I think middle school, but more mature,
Mhm.
more at a
More,
pace.
were you still in the school with mostly the same people?
Mostly the same people,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And then every year there was like a little bit, maybe like 50 people that were new,
Mhm.
and then some people stayed. Wow, let me get all this in my head, all the memories. So it was nice. I was in band for like 2 years of the 4. I started realizing I liked computers. That was a funny story as well. How I even got into computers in the first place. Because at this point, I didn't know anything but Mario Kart in terms of computers. Mario Kart was my number one. But high school was nice. I had my first actual girlfriend during the high school time. This is in Hillside High.
Okay.
Funny story. It's right down the street. Same thing. So Herd Liquor, WK
Oh,
off the
wow.
street, and then
Everything's close.
yeah, Liberty Avenue, I believe it is. That everything's on. And high school was. I'm trying to think, where should I start? Wow. Freshman year. I think that it was more structured, that it was versus like middle school and elementary school. But my mom said, let's start off with this. Let's have an assembly or some opportunity to tell the school, hey, this is me. I'm Jahquan. This is my story. And pretty much look for other people who are kind of like similar or have their stories. And I think we slowed down around high school because, you know, as people get older, their care gets a little bit more thin.
Yes,
So it's
I
like
agree.
we didn't want to just be like, just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Okay, like who are you? You know, but it was nice. I did meet a lot of friends, and now my mom just kind of reminded me to like be yourself, let people know who you are, where you come from, and that was a good way to get people to know me.
Yeah.
Because by the end of high school, everyone knew me. The security guards, teachers, students, lunch ladies, everyone knew my story just over time. One day I wear shorts, everyone's like, wait, what? The first day I wear shorts is like,
you knew they were gonna react like that.
Yeah. I already knew it was coming. I think the funny thing was like I can kind of plan it.
So
like,
you hold up. So you said the first day of school you wore shorts?
Not the first day. I don't know if it was the first day, but I think I kind of like had it planned out. So where if I did wear shorts, I can be like, okay, everyone's gonna be going crazy. Let me do it. Like I could plan it. I could like really like make fun with it.
Yeah.
But I think something like that. I did have my shorts at some time, and they were like, "Oh my god, what's happening?" And that was my cue to say everything I had to do for the entire day, the entire week, whatever was going on, you know. And then it was a good time. I did have my little like snapback hat phase, so that was my style I had, and this and that. I had my nice sneaker phase, my KDs. You know, KDs were really popular back then. Like, you know, I had that. I had my Osiris's sneakers and stuff like that. I was into that style, and that was my like way of expressing myself, and my shorts and this and that. And people can like ask questions. And I told people, always let me know if you have a question. That is my number one thing. Do not hold it back. You know, you could joke around. That's totally fine. I'm totally open to that stuff. I feel so bad if someone walks away thinking that they're too shy or they're you can't ask me. Like, no, please, like, I'm an open book. You know, and especially like kids as I got older. You know,
I was gonna ask you that.
Like, you know,
that was one of my questions. I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, kids sometimes they ask, oh, what happened? Like, oh, it's a robot. It's 24/7. Trust me, I already see it coming. The one thing I do is wave.
Yeah.
The first thing I do is wave because they know I'm a normal person.
Yeah.
Because of that, if I don't wave, I feel bad that, okay, they think I'm some like crazy dude.
Yeah.
Like, but I always say, hey, like, you know, this is what happened. I had cancer. Do you know what cancer is? Cancer is a little disease that anyone can get, but as long as you stay healthy, you might not have cancer ever in your life. You know, it's really important that they know, like, it's just, this is how it works, you know? So it's not a mystery.
Yeah.
Like, it's just some robot dude just walking around. Like, you know? No, I'm actually a real person. Promise. And it was just a lot of funny times. I have a story about that too. I don't want to go too far from the question.
Go ahead.
One time I was going to the petting zoo, right, with my family. This is like about a year ago. And we're looking at the red panda in the cage, right? Red panda just minding its own business. And like, oh my God, look. And I feel something tugging on my leg. I'm standing up, like, you know, just normal. And I feel something tugging on my leg. And I'm like, what? You know, that's my first reaction. And it was a little girl, 2 hands grabbing the shin of my leg. And I was like, whoa, be careful. I'm not worried about her touching me.
You worried about falling?
No, I'm worried about her her fingers getting in the little latch.
Yeah.
Because if I like completely straighten my leg and your finger is right there, cooked.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
that's just an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Even your fingers weren't like touching like there, but I was like, okay, like be careful. Like that's my main thing. Like, oh, like be careful. And I think her dad like snatched her up so hard. I don't even know. She was gone. I was like, wait, where'd she go? Like, what? I was gone. Like what? Oh my god! But
that's funny.
I was like, did you guys just see that? What happened? And they're like, what? What happened? You didn't see what happened? Like what? It was insane. But it was so many funny stories in my life like that.
Yeah.
Just like people trying to like, they're so curious.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's curious and they're just trying to have a good time and be like, oh, I want to like see like what is it? You know, some people actually have the bravery to like grab, like it, you know, like it was funny.
Yeah. Wow, that is funny.
But yeah, I kind of got lost with the question.
No, it's okay. I'm still on track. So we at high school. Now you did all 4 years of high school in not in Cherry Hill.
Hillside High.
Okay. All right. So then when did you? So all right, let's talk about senior prom.
Okay. Yeah.
How was that?
Didn't have a date,
Okay.
but I had like one girl in mind at the time. But we ended up breaking up right before everything. It was my first, I think, actual girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had two girlfriends in high school. One was like not really sure what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
And she changed like sexualities and stuff like that. And I was surprised at first, but I let her do her thing.
Yeah.
And then the other girl was cool, but it was a few months. I didn't have a car. So it was kind of like my dad had to drive us around and he wasn't really for that 100%, but he was supportive, you know?
Yeah.
I think she ended up talking to some other guy and I kind of saw it coming a little bit, saw them hanging out. And I was like, I was very like heartbroken because I was kind of, how do I say it? My soft, innocent, sweetheart kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just like, ooh, crush. And I was like, I was happy, you know? But my eyes kind of opened up to the real world that things can happen, you know, like cheating, it could be just breakups for no reason. It could be things like that. I think that I'm so happy that relationship happened because without that, I would have been hurt later on a lot, you know, and that kind of opened my eyes a little bit. But I was like, you know what? It's cool. I did cry about it that day. We don't talk about that. Not even stop. But
so all right. So we do the prom. We graduate. I can imagine the look and the feeling of your parents to watch you graduate from high school was probably one of the best moments of their lives.
Yeah.
To see you hurdle through so many obstacles, and we're here, graduate. But it gets even better because I pop open Facebook 1 year. And I see this young man that's hurdled all these obstacles land in a dorm room.
Oh, yes.
He's in college now.
College.
College.
College was like middle school, but a lot more mature. Same thing. Oh, my God. It was cool.
Where'd you go to college?
Ramapo College.
Okay.
Got my bachelor's there, graduated 2022.
Nice.
So 2018 to 2022. Started off as a computer science major. Before I talk about that, I have to say how I got into computers.
Okay.
Right in my senior year of high school, my friend got hacked on Kick, right? And we were in a group chat. I don't know why I was in the group chat. I can't say which one it was. But the guys there were not good people. I don't know why I didn't just leave when I could. But I said, oh, yeah, join this group chat. It's pretty fun. You know, they're chill. The guys are cool and all that. They're chill. And my friend says some crazy stuff to the guys. They're like, oh, bet. I see that you're being loud or whatever. So they send a phishing link. So what that is a web page that isn't real. It's hosted by someone else.
Yeah.
And it looks like a legit site. But when you click the link,
it has a little thing on there, right? Yeah, I saw that before.
It sends a bunch of information through data packets and certification through the website.
Oh,
and
really?
Then
I didn't know that.
It gets your IP address, IPv4.
See, I know nothing about this stuff, man. I need to have you close by.
That's exactly where I was.
I've hit that thing a few times. People sent me websites, and I clicked it, and I see it looks like a little dog or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they probably got all my stuff.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of different things. It could be anything. It could be a normal, actual YouTube website, but if they're listening to it and it's a different type of URL, that's like a shortcut of the actual URL, then they can be listening on that URL. And that's what happened. They sent him the URL. They got his IP when he clicked. And then he visited the page. But they said, oh, you must log into Kick to see the information on this page. Okay, cool. He logs into Kick. There's no verification. So that was already a red flag. And then 5 minutes later, from his account in the group chat, they're like, hey, Katie, it's the guy's name. And I was like, wait, aren't you my friend? Like, no, this is me, the other guy. I'm like, how are you in his account right now? How'd you do that? Like, he pretty much took over his account. He was pretending to be him, got through all his DMs. And it was a bad scene.
Wow.
And from that, I couldn't sleep that entire night. They didn't get to me because they saw I was cool, but they did ask me to leave. And I was like, no problem, I'm out of here. And I did the same thing pretty much. They did get my account, but they didn't actually take it over. They just said, change your password and you could just leave. And I was like, okay. And that's when I was like, how did that happen? So I studied networking. I studied how links work. I studied all that, the back to the front end. And that's how I said, you know what? I have to go into college. Let's do computer science. And that was the craziest decision I ever made because that first class was not it.
Why? It was difficult?
It was difficult. I got a D in the first computer science 1 class.
Wow.
But I said, you know what? Let me try again. Because like I said, do anything as long as you practice.
That's right.
As long as you put time into it. So I said, you know what? Tried it again. Got a C+.
Nice.
Passed.
Okay.
And let's say I graduated pretty close, to the little line, but I learned a lot.
Good.
I learned a lot about myself,
Yeah.
about the major, and about how the resources, how to utilize them in tests and exams. I learned how to learn. That's the biggest thing in the entire world is how to learn how to learn. How to learn how you learn actually,
Yes.
like how, because everyone learns differently.
Yep.
And one thing I will say, you have to really just be consistent, with studying, learning, and going out of your way to find different sources that you won't find online. Like it could be at a career fair, even if you're not gonna make it. You probably think in your head you might not make it, but it's still the effort of going out.
Yeah.
You learn a lot more than just sitting at home and probably just researching some things. But that a bunch of those resources in college, to anyone in college, it's very important to make use of every resource you can possibly make, and then allocate time to each thing. And that's how you do it. And I learned so much, and a lot of classes I thought I wouldn't make, I actually made it just by putting time.
Yeah.
Pretty much like if you're just in a world of things you're unfamiliar with, you just start learning over time. The more time you spend in that world, learning, going out of your way, and to do things, you'll just become good over time. Things become familiar that you didn't know before.
Yeah. See that, y'all? See, Ja is schooling me because I knew nothing about doing this podcast. But I'm learning. I keep getting my hands wet and my hands wet and my hands wet until I can swim. So thank you for your information, my brother.
Of course.
All right. So we're in college.
Yeah.
What was the difference? What would you say the difference of being in college? Because obviously you're away because your parents are in Cherry Hill now, right?
We're all together.
You're still okay. So they're still in Hillside.
No, we're all like in Cherry Hill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mom, dad, me, Camilla, and Isabella.
I mean, when you went to Ramapo.
Oh, yeah. So we were in Hillside at the time.
But you stayed on campus.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So how was that? Now you're not home, you're not home with mom and dad.
Yeah, it was pretty okay. So I had a script that I stuck to in terms of like how to get around and move around, how to like talk and meet new people. It was pretty much like find those who had the same interest and then boom, friends, and there's a lot of gamers on campus. There's a lot of people. This is when diversity was like taking off.
Yeah.
I did have a phase where I was into South Asians and like, Asians in general, because they were like different. I was like, whoa, like there's a lot more of these people.
I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm going to tell you the God's honest truth. My wife could confirm. Yeah. One of the places I want to visit, and it's been on my bucket list for years, is I want to go to Japan.
Really? Yeah, a lot of people say that.
And I think because their culture is so, like when you look into their culture, is so close to the African-American culture that it's intriguing to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was looking at videos in Tokyo and watching these kids outside like breakdancing and pop locking, and I'm like, what? And just listening to kids sing Sound like I was watching a YouTube video of this girl. She was like 12. Sounds like Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they can stretch. They are really, really talented over there.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's funny that you said that.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now we're in college. Mom and dad is gone. You're on your own. You're digging into new people. How's the grades? Are you doing well in school still?
The grades, it took me a while to understand exactly what I was dealing with. So, I mean, the good thing is that freshman year, I did take a lot of general classes, like, what was it? Like not social studies. It was more like a social understanding of the world, understanding of meditation, things like that, where an essay was like once a month, like not even. Super chill vibes. The professors were really calm. We had field trips and things like that. I kind of wish I took those classes a little later because that's when a lot of my calculus classes, a lot of cryptography classes, a lot of data structures, object-oriented programming, those classes were at the end. And I was like, why did I do this to myself? Why did I do this to myself, right? But it was cool. I had a lot of simple classes, general classes in the beginning. My grades were not bad. I did have a time with math that was really difficult. I did have to take pre-algebra because I barely made it in like the normal standard. Because my math, I know when I study a lot, but if I don't keep at it, I forget. You know. And one problem that I might remember might use a problem from like before, and I'm like, oh, that messes up everything because one number that's off is the whole problem gone. You know, and that was an opening eye for me. So I pretty much had tutoring 24/7. So unfortunately, I never had a open summer. You know, I never had just a free summer to just work and build money. It was more like, oh, I have to go to summer school. I had to go to tutoring, and it was tough. You know, sometimes when I thought I had the upper hand, I'm kind of still at a standard like C+, B- area, and there was really no way for me to like really just have like I said, open summer, things like that. The winter semester was my only open time. I had to like really just take a breath, you know. I'm gonna say that I kind of took advantage of those easier classes to get freshened up on those harder classes. So that was, you know, good to utilize those things, but I'm trying to think if I can go back in time and say, hey, what could I have done better to make my life a little easier? I would definitely say to study more on math. That's why right now I tell my sister Isabella, she's pretty decent in math. She got offered like a grade higher for next year of math.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. She feels she can't do it, but I'm like, you're doing pretty good. But honestly, Isabella, like you gotta stay on it and just learn. So that was my thing. If I can go back and tell myself, honestly, but.
So I hear a lot of people say, I was talking to one guy about my son and him doing, excuse me, and him in college, and he's really, really hard on himself. So I was talking to a professor, and he was like, listen, all you want to do is pass class. Pass class.
Yeah,
Tell
that
him
is
just
true.
pass the class.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like high school. You know what I mean? Pass class. Pass the class, and we're good. So, you know, I had to have that conversation with him. Graduation, college graduation. How did that go?
I graduated one semester late, but it was pretty good. It was pretty solid. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment. It was crazy, insane. There was one thing that happened that was not so good, but it was a girl situation. But graduation time, I'm not worried about nothing. Life is good, right? So it was pretty cool. It was really nice. A lot of family came out. It was super, super nice. I was just so happy because, like I said, I was really having a hard time at the time in terms of grades and the classes because it was all of my hardest classes, like Calculus 2, it was data structures, object-oriented programming. I had to go to NJIT to take a class because the one at Ramapo was way too difficult. I was like, I'm not risking it. The professor average in that class, not the professor's average, the grade average in that class was a C-. Wow. And I had no room. I had to get a B+. And I was like, no. So with NJIT, I drove all the way through Newark. I was in Hillside. It was like a 20-minute drive. Not too bad, actually. But when there's traffic, it was pretty bad. And let's see. The commute was a little scary at nighttime, you know, a little something. But it was all right. You know, I got some bubble tea. I was like, I was good. Got my class. The classroom was like 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It was so cold in there. Wow. So cold. But it was 3 hours. every weekday, um, for like it was a summer class, and so it was like very packed,
Mm-hmm.
like time
Yeah.
wise, and I had to do that class, but I got through it, did good. Did the commute. I was working at Panera Bread at the time. Got through that. It was the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a
Yeah.
hustle, but you have to grind. That's the
Yeah,
thing. You have
that's
to
it.
grind.
You
You got to stay
definitely
on
got to
it.
grind. You
Yeah.
definitely got to grind.
I'm just happy I made it. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
So what year did you graduate college?
It was December 2022. So at the end,
2022. So you've been out for
I walked
3 years.
I walked in the summer of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's the answer to the
Okay.
question. But like I was out of classes that whole time.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So 3 years you've been out. So what's been going on since you've been out of school?
A lot of job applications.
Okay.
A lot of job applications. So I'm gonna say senior year of college, I was at Best Buy, and then I kind of graduated, and then I was still working at Best Buy. This is when I actually started applying for software engineering jobs. So I graduated with a computer science degree. So that means anything in terms of data analysts, software engineering, web developing, cybersecurity specialists. I did have a class on that too, so I kind of promoted that on my LinkedIn and all that. I was mainly focused on programming, and just that's it. C++
Okay.
and
Mhm.
Java language. So I think what was difficult was presenting myself professionally.
Mhm.
That's one thing I didn't really know how to do 100%. That was a big learning curve for me. So resume, I had to go through a lot of resume things because nowadays, I think software engineering is one of the hardest resume reading platforms because of the software called ATS.
Okay.
So when you're applying, in summary, there's a thing called ATS, and it reads your resume based off format, keywords, structure, what you are bringing to the table, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So when it gets to the recruiter, it's pretty much straightforward process. They just see the keywords and that's it. They don't have to really do much. And I had a lot of waiting time just to get word back because of the super strong ATS requirements. So the problem was I would apply and then hear nothing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, what's going on, right? And it does make sense. A lot of these jobs do take about 2 months to get back to you, or a month, just to like really get you in the system.
Yeah.
And then the interviews can actually take off from there. Some jobs can take as long as 6 months to even get like in for the first time. So I got into a job, Metro and Spectro. They're all about spectroscopy, right? That was my first engineering job, software engineering job, embedded. So embedded means like you're working with hardware usually,
Mhm.
or you're working with low level code directly to the boards that we're using. So like Arduino boards are one thing. ESP32 is another kind of board, and they all have drivers you can program to and things like that.
Mhm.
I can go all into that, but in summary, that was my first job.
Yeah.
Pretty much, my job was working with Android operating systems on handheld devices that shoot lasers. Right, these lasers shoot through a chemical and they come back with the readings on what the chemical is or substance. So you can imagine a police officer would find like narcotics into a car and be like, okay, wait, I need to see what this is. Boom, pulls out the device, the prototype, and then boom. So pretty much sponsor me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a cool job. I was there for about 2-ish years, and then we ended up moving.
Okay.
And then moving was not fun. And then the commute was like an hour and like change. It was
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't know,
Yeah.
but things happened. I was like, yeah, I don't know, a little bit much for me. So now I'm here doing tutoring, freelancing on Fortnite coaching. I do love Fortnite a lot. Play a lot of Fortnite and streaming part-time. Streaming is a big thing I do want to get into for those who are looking into streaming or doing any form of content creation. But that is what I've been doing a lot of. And music is nice too, but more as a hobby though.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot. Always staying active, even though I'm not like, working 100%. It still feels like I'm working so much, you know? Yeah.
But Jay, I wanted to say, man, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think would, if you had to give someone advice, a child at 6 years old, or his parent at 6 years old, finding out her child needs to get his leg amputated, what would you say to that kid?
I would say, hey, you're strong. I know you're strong, right? I need you to understand that the world is going to have a lot of challenges in it, but it's up to you to really understand and stay strong no matter what, and always look for the future, ways you can help yourself stay healthy, ways you can understand the world, how it works, and how you have to have a plan on how to stay strong. You have to learn how to learn. You have to learn how to deal with pain. How are you going to come from things? How are you going to, how do I say, accomplish things? How are you going to provide? You know, it's going to be difficult in life, whether it's physically, emotionally, or mentally, but it's up to you to really know who you are as a person and how you're going to stay strong. Sometimes I think, like anytime, like it could be when I was younger or now, what if it was you against the world? Let's say everyone around you was gone. Like, you know, everyone that you know and loved was just gone. You know, what are you going to do? You know, because you're still alive. How are you going to do? Are you going to give up? There's no way to really give up, you know? Because even giving up, you can't see that as an option. There's no way, you know? So you have to really, like, what are you going to do? Like, struggle and just barely get by, or do the work, learn how to learn, provide. You're going to start working, get to learn how the world works. You know, it's the only way you're going to really survive. And I feel like that is super, super important to really understand and get serious. You know, one thing about me, if I can talk to my older self when I was 6, I really wish I didn't goof around too much. You know, I wish I just took some time to take a breath and be like, hey, wait, this might actually be serious. You know, this might actually be something that could change my life for the better if I take this chance now.
Okay.
I wish I read the world a little bit better, because in the future that might come back and be like, oh, wait, I know this. I've been through this before, you know, but because I goofed around, I didn't understand at the time. So now it's kind of new first time, you know? So things like that, I just kind of wish I told myself, hey, things might get a little bit yucky, but this is how we're going to do it. This is our plan. Let's have a schedule. Learning how to make a schedule for yourself is really good too. That discipline, self-discipline. You know? So I think that in terms of the question, staying strong, staying at it, staying like positive, and just having a good outlook. And no matter what, you can always say you did try your best, you did keep learning, and you're still learning. You know, you're still trying to make it better. You know?
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Last question.
Yeah.
Those 2 people that raised you, like I spoke about them earlier, the strength, the courage, the togetherness, that's so important. Because they're still being husband and wife and raising a child that has what we consider a disability, right? Give me one word that describes mom.
Mom. Resilient. I think she's been through so much, and she still puts a smile on her face every day. That's one thing I wish I told her a little bit more. You know, I feel like I don't really tell her that.
You're telling her right now.
Yeah. I wish I told her a little bit more. Like, you get through so much and still put a smile on your face every day as a teacher, not just as a teacher, but self-contained, general. She's been through all the ranks, and she still comes home every day, you know, usually cooks or something like that, or cleans, or just talks, you know? She's always up and about. She's always keeping going, you know? I think that she's been through a lot in her life, but because she is here now, she's happy that I'm healthy, she's healthy, the family's healthy, you know? And I feel like that's kind of what drives her. And, you know, we've all been through a lot, you know, in our life, you know, food stamps, we've been through broken environments, we've been through tough times in relationships, we've been through this and that, we've been through a lot, you know? I feel like everyone has a little piece in their family that has been, you know, through a lot. But I think because we've gotten so far with a nice house, bigger yard, pool in the backyard, in-ground, making money, I think the total household is like $300K
That's
now.
beautiful, man.
Like and that's just like, everyone has a part, you know? Isabella's doing good in a healthy school. Like, thinking about where I came from when I went to school, like the environment I was in, where drug dealing in like the environment was a thing, you know? Like, it wasn't like a hiding. It's actually like in front of your house, there could be something going on, you don't know. You know, there was like violence occasionally, like in the streets sometimes, or fights, or, you know, just like crime here and there. The crime rate was a thing. But now Isabella can grow up in a nice environment. So I think seeing Isabella and Camilla grow up in a better environment is also what puts a smile on her face, and that puts a smile on my face too. I'm happy that I went through the tougher times so they can see, like, I can be a role model for my sisters and stuff like that. Me being the oldest and all, and I'm happy that they can grow up in a nicer environment because you know I'm like it's been a lot. You know,
resilient. I love it. I love it. I love it. What about dad?
Dad, he's been through a lot in terms of growing up. He always tells me stories about his life.
Where's your father originally from?
So there was Hemington in Carolina, and then there was Jersey City.
Jersey City. That's where I remember.
Pacific Avenue.
Jersey City, yeah.
So we have family down there, and we have family mainly in Jersey City on Pacific Avenue usually. My grandmom is now in Virginia, his side. So Virginia Beach area. She's from there, not from there, but there living now. But Jersey City is where everything usually happened for him in terms of like childhood.
Yeah. So what's his one word?
His one word, I want to say resilient too, but something different is, how do I say? I'm trying to think of one word. There's so many words. Hardworking, but more of a word. I'm trying to think. It's that one word that's just perfect. Not just hardworking, but I guess hardworking. Like, it's just like he was the one that pretty much had money on the table. He was putting in the hours, you know, working at Applebee's at the time. He became an accountant. He been through like Springer was his one job, and then he's been doing that for a while, and then now he does project marketing as a manager for the trade desk. So he's been through so many jobs, and pretty much in summary, I'm not sure what that one word is except for hardworking, but to put it in summary, he barely takes a day off. He's always working. So that's the one thing. It's just he's always working. Yeah, you know.
That's my generation of men.
Yeah,
like it. You got a family to take care of, and that's it. And I know, you know, from watching your dad knowing your dad and your mom in their early 20s, and me in my early 20s, everybody was trying to get it. It's amazing to see them move from, you know, the steps, from here to Hillside, from Patterson to Hillside to Cherry Hill, bigger place.
Yeah.
Still grinding. It's so cool to see them. And raising 3 wonderful children, you know what I mean, that gets to eat from a really, really healthy place. I love them both. I really do. I love your parents. I love watching your family through social media. One day I'm going to get to meet everybody.
Yes, yeah. The thing is, too, I remember driving home from South Carolina. It was a whole family trip. We're going to South Carolina. And I remember Isabella at the time, she was younger. She was wondering why my mom and dad, you know, argue. Like, you know, everyone argues. But so to her, it was like only us. And my mom was explaining, like, you know, it's not arguing. We're just trying to have a like understanding, you know. But everything that we argue about is because we want a better for the family, and just like it's just a form of love, you know. If you never argue, if you never have any conversation, is it really like like are you guys being really real? You know,
and you're gonna disagree about something.
My mom was kind of just reiterating, like, you know, we've been through so much, you know, and no matter what, we're always just happy that we're in the car. Like, look at us, we're on a field trip all together. Everyone's healthy. We're gonna see other family. We're gonna have a lot of food, at least for Thanksgiving or something like that. And it was like just understanding. My mom just kind of emphasized, like, no matter what, she got emotional when she was talking because we were talking about all the good times, where we came from, this and that, you know. And it was just, you know, she really just laid it down, like, we're really just happy no matter what. Even though we argue sometimes, it's never like a bad time. You know, we've been through so much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man, I want to just thank you for your time. Thank you for driving 2 hours. This kid is amazing. He just drove up here 2 hours so we could do this interview.
It was a beautiful drive.
I appreciate your time.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna be watching, Ja. I'm gonna be watching as you continue to grow and you continue to mature. And continue to be you, man. It's just a beautiful thing. It was a wonderful interview and a wonderful time getting to meet you. As a token of my appreciation, you could choose anything off this wonderful wall.
Whoa.
If I don't have your size, I will get your size and I'll send it to you.
Wow. Yes.
But I just want to give you something. I know, was it Noriega? They got Drink Champs, and they give away the thing they call it, the you give your flowers. They give them this plaque of flowers. I like to call my stuff a cape.
Oh yeah.
Tragedy to Triumph apparel. It's a cape. It's only for people that's able to conquer and beat the battles that's set to kill you and to destroy you. You know what I mean? And I appreciate you, and I thank you. So I want you to continue to encourage me and everybody else that's watching, because I'm sure with everybody that's watching today, you probably got a bunch of people watching and crying as they're watching the video, just to see the resilience and to see the toughness and the grind that you are. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you guys for watching too much. Yeah.
Everyone. As I told Ja, you guys could get the merchandise online at www.tragedy Roman numeral 2 Triumph.com. That's tragedy2triumph.com. You could choose some of the highest fabric, highest quality materials, and a wonderful embroidered logo. You can follow us on Instagram at Tragedy to Triumph Apparel. Facebook, also like us at Tragedy to Triumph Apparel. And leave comments, share YouTube TV, Tragedy to Triumph TV on YouTube. Like, share, click, share again, like again, click again, and continue to spread the good news. We love you guys. Thank you for signing in, and we're out of here.
Yes.
Thank you for your time and attention during this broadcast. Please like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tragedy to Triumph TV. Like and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Tragedy to Triumph Apparel. And if you're feeling the merch, check out our website at www.tragedytotriumph.com, where you will find the highest quality athletic wear on the planet. Clothing with a purpose and a reminder of your very own greatness. Tragedy to Triumph Apparel. Continue to wear your story.